Dear TEDx speakers, guests, friends online, good afternoon. I'm the licensee and a host of TEDx Huawei, and I'm Yizirui. First of all, on behalf of all the TEDx Huawei staff, I would like to extend our warmest welcome to all of our guests and to all of you who are watching the event online. Thank you. For the past year, we have been fighting against all odds, and we have been pushed by the times and staggered forward. We definitely have the best prospects and aspirations for 2021, but at the same time, we should also be prepared for more uncertainties and challenges. As the theme of today's TEDx says, the greater the difficulty, the greater the glory. Under heavy pressure amid rapid changes, we will continue to strive forward. Today, we have the honor to bring together 9 speakers from 4 countries to share their stories of how they face pressure and ride the waves. Among them are pioneers in the technology industry, environmental groups that protect forests, famous singers, successful Olympic champions, and newcomers of a profession. The theme of this TEDx talk is driven by pressure. 9 speakers are invited to stand in their own fields, use their stories to share with us their ideas and perceptions. Our first speaker is Dr. Wong President of Huawei Consumer BG Software Engineering Department and the President of AI and All Scenario Intelligence Business Unit. His topic is Connecting to a Simpler Life. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone present in the conference room, as well as those who join us online. It gives me great pleasure to be here at the TEDx to share with you my thoughts. Today, I want to give a talk from the perspective of mobile internet, and I will share understanding of how the connectivity industry will develop and what our team have been doing. If you look at human history, one thing has played an important role, that is connectivity. Connectivity between people allow us to form families and friendships and teams. Connectivity between countries allows trade to develop rapidly. It brings benefits to people of both countries. Connectivity between civilizations allows them to learn from each other and push forward the human society. Connectivity continues to play important roles in every aspect of our life. For example, we are giving a TEDx talk today. My video will be uploaded to the internet for consumers to watch on their own devices. This has allowed us to do what we considered impossible in the past. So today I will share with you what our team have been doing in the connectivity business and what we think about the future. I will start with a story. When I was little, I remembered I had a dream, and I still remember it vividly. When I was 6 or 7 years old, I would be very excited if I could watch movies in the open air. I'm from northeastern China. In summer, we could watch a movie outside for 2 hours. It was fine. But in winter, it was freezing. What I remember vividly is, even if my feet were so painful because of the cold, I didn't want to leave. I want to sit through the movie because I didn't get to watch movies every day. My feet were already numb with pain. And I would think to myself, it would be great if one day I could watch movies at home. But this can already be realized today, because TVs are so prevalent. Almost everyone can do that on the planet. In the past 10+ years, with the rise of the mobile internet and smartphones, a lot of benefits have been created for humanity. At the foundation is connectivity. For example, you can use a smartphone to make payments. Payments have been made very easy by smartphones. You only need to tap the smartphone a few times, and you can make purchases you like, products that are produced around the world. The same is true with vehicles. You can book a ride on your smartphone. This is another benefit of connectivity. I will know exactly when the car will arrive, how far it is from me. Connectivity of various kinds makes life much easier for us. But do you think connectivity is enough? Is it sufficient today? I don't think so. I think you will also agree with me. As someone working in the tech sector, I feel this more strongly than anyone else. The mobile internet has developed so quickly in the past 10 plus years, it has had a fundamental impact on every aspect of society. But it still fails to meet some of our needs. For example, it's difficult to edit a document on a smartphone. If I'm watching a video on my smartphone, can it provide more immersive experience? No. So if you look at the mobile internet sector, there are three very important facts that show the industry development is slowing down. The first fact is global smartphone shipments are at a standstill at the fourth quarter of 2018. They declined slightly. In 2020, of course, because of the coronavirus pandemic, smartphone shipments decreased significantly. The second fact is, are there any other major popular apps that popped up in the past few years? I don't think so. The third fact is, the amount of time consumers spend on their smartphones has declined. Is it because they don't like the smartphone anymore? No. It's because mobile internet cannot keep up with people's demand anymore. The whole industry is thinking about what the next big thing will be. China has some great philosophers. We often say, amid crisis, there are opportunities. What is the opportunity that we have identified? That is, a world of ubiquitous connectivity is already here. I believe many of you already have smartwatches and other wearables. And the TVs in your home are not the traditional ones. They are smart TVs. Smart vehicles will also come to the road. Because people's demand keeps increasing, technologies will also keep growing. It's also because of the hard work of tech companies like Huawei that we are able to make life increasingly easy for people. Today I want to share with you what our team have been doing so that there will be greater connectivity between people and devices, between people and information, and so on. And this depends on if the connectivity sector will have a broad market. When we consume information on the smartphone, we may not be able to do it on a tablet in the same way. And there are far fewer apps on the automotive head unit if we follow the same path. I think the world of ubiquitous connectivity will remain a far-off dream, or it will not bring as many benefits as we expect. Is it possible that one day consumers will be able to access services they need and they will not be constrained by the capabilities of a single piece of hardware? Can services move across devices seamlessly? can they only tap one device several times to access the services they need? This is what I want to talk about today. What will working out be like when that day comes? In recent years, a great number of people like to go to the gym, including myself. I started jogging 5 years ago. I run about 1,000 kilometers. I've been doing this for 5 years. But I don't know what the appropriate amount of exercise is for me every day. On some occasions, I'm quite stressed, so what is the right amount of exercise for me? We have smart watches today to monitor our heart rate, but they cannot give me professional guidance. If I have my smartwatch and smart earphones and sensors attached to my body, they can monitor my posture and the way my feet touch the ground. When all of the information is available, does this mean I will have an electronic trainer? He can tell me to slow down after monitoring my heart rate, or he can tell me to lift my leg higher or breathe deeper. I think this service will deliver a better experience than a single device can do today. Smart home is another hot topic in recent years in China. There's been a lot of talk of it, but does it mean turning on or turning off lights with your smartphone, or opening or closing the blinds with it? Far from it. Let me give you an example. If Harmony OS runs on various home appliances like air conditioners and your beds, when you want to rest, the sensors can detect it. It will tell this to an air conditioner, well, this person is going to take a rest, and the air conditioner will adjust the temperature so it suits you when you are asleep. It will adjust the strength of the wind. This is what a smart home is like, in my opinion. If these devices are isolated from each other, the air conditioner shouldn't know what temperature is appropriate. It doesn't know whether you are very hot from the exercise or you are taking a rest. It doesn't know anything. But if these devices are connected, it's like the air conditioner has eyes and ears. It knows what state the human is in. That is what an intelligent world should be like. Another example is a smart assistant. As a businessman, you may have to travel a lot. Once I was having a conference call at the airport and I missed my flight. If I had a colleague traveling with me, I wouldn't have missed the flight. But what if I'm traveling alone? For example, I have my PC and my tablet. If these devices can communicate, they can notify me when the flight will leave. Actually, I had this kind of experience last time I traveled back to Shenzhen from Beijing. I had my Huawei smartphone with me, and it had all the flight information on it. But you don't need to worry about it. Such information will not be uploaded to the cloud, so there's no need to worry about privacy. I was in a conference call, and my smartphone all of a sudden told me the flight will leave in about 5 minutes, and I am several minutes away from the boarding gate. I'd better hurry. I was so happy. This was exactly the experience we were looking forward to. And at the foundation of it is connectivity. We have devices of various sizes right now. Connectivity between devices is like connectivity between people. If people are speaking different languages, communication will be very difficult. If we don't speak the same language, for example, we have a few foreign guests here in the audience, I can only use a few simple English sentences to talk with them. If I use some phrases, Chinese phrases, it will be very difficult for foreigners to understand because there's always a backstory behind each forward Chinese phrase. How about we enable all devices to speak the same language? They all speak, say, Chinese, Japanese, or English. In this way, they will be able to talk with each other. We don't need to ask each device to perform tasks for us. They can communicate and figure out what we need. This is where Huawei's Harmony OS comes in. This is the target we had in mind when we studied Harmony OS. I will skip the technical details in today's talk. I hope you will walk away remembering several things about Harmony OS. First, it's a single operating system to accommodate the needs of devices of various sizes. Of course, there are some underlying technologies to make that happen. We hope it can run on earphones as well as vehicles. In this way, these devices will be connected more easily. You don't need to turn on Wi-Fi or Bluetooth to connect to them. They will be connected naturally through Harmony OS. The second target is the devices will not just mind their own business. Instead, they know their strength respectively, and they can work together seamlessly to perform a task to deliver the ultimate experience to consumers. You don't need to open the door by yourself. If all smart watches and TVs and phones connect together, you can speak to your watch, open the door, and it will open automatically. This is the kind of experience we are imagining for you. The app does not run on a single device. The app follows the people and travels across devices. Harmony OS is like the fertile soil on which the apps can run. If we can accomplish this target, when you work out, you will feel like there's a professional trainer beside you. When you are cooking, it's like there's someone very good at nutrition to tell you how you can cook that will be best for your health. And when you are out and about, you feel like there's a portable assistant. Harmony OS aims to deliver better experience to consumers. Communication will not be one way. It's not like consumers give a command to devices. Instead, the longer the devices are with you, the better they know you, the better they know your needs. Just like the example I shared about myself at the Beijing airport. The third goal is we hope there will be an intelligent device on top of the Harmony OS. It keeps learning about your habits, keeping them in mind, learning about your behavior. It can accurately understand what you need exactly and deliver it to you. These are the three goals of Harmony OS. I believe in the audience there are some Huawei phone users. I want to share with you some statistics. At the beginning of June, all Huawei smartphone users can migrate to Harmony OS. You are more than welcome to try it out for yourself, and you will be able to have amazing experience. I hope I have made it clear to you what Harmony OS is. It's not an alternative to Android or iOS. It's an operating system for a world of ubiquitous connectivity. Smartphone is just one device in it. If we can achieve our goals, then the devices will not be isolated. They will feel like one single device, following you everywhere and giving you the services you need. What's in it for hardware vendors? Right now, consumers can only use whatever is provided by hardware vendors if the hardware runs Harmony OS. It's like there will be a super device, and the hardware can work with other devices to better support needs of consumers. This presents an opportunity for industry upgrade. Let me give you an example. Many home appliances claim to be intelligent. But if they are from different brands, do you think they are really so different from each other? Do they have differentiating advantages? I don't think so. We hope in the future home appliances will be able to understand people's eating habits in the family. They can look into the current state of your health and tell you what food you should eat for this meal. Should you eat more vegetables? Things like that. These are what we call smart home appliances. These are the tangible benefits technology can deliver to people, and at the foundation of it all is connectivity. This year, new Huawei phones, smartwatches, speakers, and other smart devices that will be released this year will run Harmony OS. Existing users can migrate to Harmony OS as well. A large number of third-party partners have already migrated to Harmony OS. By the end of the year, there will be at least 300 million devices running Harmony OS. This will give many consumers an opportunity to have the experience I described earlier. When that day comes, it will open up opportunities for innovation for app developers. In the past, applications are constrained by the capabilities of smartphones. In the future, they will no longer be constrained by the hardware. Apps will deliver dramatically different experience. Apps can travel across devices. This is a great opportunity for app developers. I've just described the benefits to consumers. I believe the Harmony OS will do a lot to connect people and devices, and it will present lots of opportunities to various industries. I encourage you to try out Harmony OS for yourself. I also call on app developers to join forces with us in building the Harmony OS ecosystem. This is a huge market. There will be huge room for innovation and growth. That's all from me. If you are interested, you can come to me afterwards. We hope all players in the industry can come together, provide faster connectivity, and make the world a better place for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wong, for your excellent sharing. Harmony OS is a pioneer that will make breakthroughs despite pressure and define the next technology wave. Besides, they are also a group of guardians working alongside. Here's Ms. Chrissy Durkin from Rainforest Connection in the US to share with us their story of using technology to protect the rainforest.
Ecosystems that were once deafeningly loud and vibrant with life are being silenced at an alarming rate. One of my favorites, Rachel Carson, said, "But man is a part of nature, and his war against nature is inevitably a war against himself." Despite this, we're undergoing the largest and most rapid ecological transformation in human history. This is the sound replacing those birds and frogs. Two-thirds of the planet's tropical rainforests have been degraded or destroyed. 1 million plant and animal species are threatened with extinction. This loss of species causes ecosystems to begin to break down. And this affects us too. We're destroying the foundation of our economies, livelihoods, food security, health, and quality of life. And I've had conversation after conversation with conservationists around the world about how threats have increased this past year due to the impact of COVID-19. There's even more pressure on local communities and ecosystems. But the thing is, it's really hard to know in a timely fashion where the illegal destruction is happening, when it's happening, or exactly how all of the animals that reside there are being impacted. Humans are visual creatures. We like to understand the world through sight, but sound travels further than the eye can see and encompasses all of life, the health of the forests, but also the destruction. I was in Nawabuta, Chile 2 months ago, which is where life on land evolved. There's a tremendous amount of endemic species in this spectacular landscape. However, forestry companies have nearly destroyed all native forests. The ones that remain are threatened by illegal logging. My team at Rainforest Connection was there to install our real-time acoustic monitoring system that we've been developing since 2014. We climbed to the top of the tree canopy in the Nawabuta forest in sunshine, but also in some pretty crazy storms to install Guardians, our recording devices. The devices are solar-powered mini computers, recording the soundscape continuously and streaming all that data to the cloud via the cell network. They're recording everything in the forest, and we have access to all that data almost immediately from anywhere in the world. Once in our platform, we run artificial intelligence models for whatever sounds we're interested in, such as vehicles, gunshots, hounds, human voices, anything that will let us know there's a threat. We're able to pick out these sounds in real time and send an alert to rangers on the ground via an app and web console so that they can respond. This is what the ranger receives. They can see the spectrogram and hear the sound of the threat. They, being the on-ground experts, then choose the best course of action. Our system has been developed in the face of some seriously extreme challenges. There's a reason this hasn't been done before. Installing devices in the rainforest is not an easy feat. We've had to figure out how to power them in the dark undergrowth of 60-meter tall trees, keep the inside of the device dry against constant downpours, and most difficult of all, stream a tremendous amount of data from the most remote places on Earth. And more surprise challenges arise in every new location. But overcoming obstacles as we go, we've installed the system around the world, ranging from detecting gunshots to stop poaching in the Eos Gorge in Greece, to detecting chainsaws in severely threatened rainforests in Malaysia, to picking out sounds of vehicles and motorbikes to stop logging in the Amazon with the Tembe tribe. We've had to think outside the box in order to execute these large field projects during the pandemic. The Rainforest Connection field team used to travel to every project location to install devices. But because of travel restrictions, we've had to adapt our Guardians to be plug and play, making it possible for local tree climbers to install the Guardians in the forest. This adaptation has actually in turn put us years ahead in terms of our ability to scale quickly to protect more regions. Growing this capacity to empower people on the ground to stop illegal activities has been our mission since the beginning at Rainforest Connection. But let's go back to Chile. In the heart of the Nawabuta Mountains lives the elusive Darwin Fox. The Mapuche people, there for over 2,000 years, know this fox as the spirit of the forest. But due to habitat destruction, there are only approximately 70 individuals left in this region. So a few years ago, we realized that the richness of the sound of the forest goes far beyond detecting chainsaws. Species of all types, frogs, birds, bats, mammals, insects, they're all calling to each other. Bioacoustic scientists have known the value here for a long time, but new artificial intelligence capabilities make this a whole new frontier of scientific insight. The Darwin fox has a very unique call. Scientists on the ground have been struggling to determine the exact range of the Darwin fox. The goal of this project is not only to stop the illegal logging of their habitat through sound, but actually understand where this fox is present by creating an AI model to detect that call. This will enable our partners on the ground to better conserve and restore the fox's native habitat to promote their revival. No matter where we look on Earth, life expresses and asserts itself through sound. This is as true underwater as it is on land, where sound travels over greater distances and amongst some of the most cognitively complex creatures we share the planet with. Data from a partner streams from several hydrophones installed deep in the ocean in Vancouver Bay, and from it we're monitoring the southern resident killer whale, a critically endangered species of which only 73 individuals remained. However, just last month a calf was born, making their numbers increase to 74. 60 or more of them came together in celebration of the birth, and AI allowed us to detect this incredible event. So almost all species make noise. Here we have the faint call of a leopard, a mantled howler monkey, some gibbons singing to each other, tree frogs, and some hungry macaws. All of these were detected in our system. Acoustics are the best way to understand the animals that inhabit our living planet on a scale that's not possible with any other type of data. In order to, we have to harness the power of cloud AI and big data. This is the beginning of an unprecedented era of ambitious scientific discovery and critical conservation work only made possible by recently developed technologies. We will be able to understand how the wetlands are faring by looking at the health of the insects, and if capuchins in the cloud forests are making a comeback, and even stop human-elephant conflict by giving early warnings to farmers of elephant presence. We can tell corporations how to make their supply chains more sustainable by letting them know if their practices are encouraging the critters to live. We can stop ship strikes of whales and shipping channels. We can track the health of migratory bird populations. We can hear the alarm calls of the monkeys and the birds to know when people are invading their habitats. Acoustics are the key to understanding all of these species, and this is the way we're making it happen. Our science and data science teams are taking on the task of building regional AI models, making it possible to detect thousands of species automatically from the soundscape. We start with something called pattern matching, which expedites the process of labeling data to create AI models. What used to take scientists months to years to complete now takes just a few hours. Once the models are built, we can then visualize detections from a continuous stream of sound coming from the guardians. In just this short chunk of audio from Los Amigos, Peru, we have detected 11 species. This endeavor is very much a collaborative effort. For example, corporations like Huawei can and are making a tremendous impact. We use the Huawei Cloud and Model Arts for data storage and analysis, and Huawei has supported 5 projects directly in the last year, with 3 new ones being launched this year. So our grand goal at Rainforest Connection is to create a planetary nervous system for acoustic insights, resulting in everything from informed threat detection reports to species distribution mapping to occupancy modeling to soundscape analyses. Data from all our most important ecosystems around the world will be aggregated into one platform, where governments, scientists, NGOs, corporations, citizen scientists, and indigenous tribes can all come together to utilize it to make informed conservation decisions. We're gathering 1 million years of acoustic data from sea to mountaintop and from the tropics to the poles by 2030 to capture our living planet as it undergoes, as I mentioned, the most rapid period of transformation in human history. This never-before attempted goal will result in a continuously evolving planetary map of biodiversity, available to the public through our storage and analysis platform for anyone to use, resulting in actionable data and insights to inform positive change. The world's 6th mass extinction is currently occurring, and we have the opportunity to chronicle what will soon be lost forever, or if we act fast, inform how to change our course and keep mass extinction from being humanity's legacy. The idea of wilderness needs no defense, it only needs defenders. Aggregated acoustic data, coupled with analysis tools, puts the power to create positive change into all of our hands.
Thank you, Chrissy, for a great talk. Speaking of environmental protection, it's not just about protecting the current ecosystem. Garbage management, especially e-waste recycling and reuse, is also a pressing matter. As a pioneering company in e-waste recycling in China, TES has been in this industry for almost 20 years. It recycles more than 4.5 tons 45,000 tons of e-waste in China alone per year. Please welcome the co-founder of TES, Alice Wong, to give a talk on how they turn waste into gold. Please welcome. Hello, everyone. Before we start, I want to ask you a couple of questions. How often do you buy a new mobile phone? And how many mobile phones have you had? Let's see a show of hand if you have used less than 5. Raise your hand if you've used between 5 and 10. So it seems those who haven't raised their hands have used more than 10 mobile phones, just like myself. I started using my first phone in 1995. It was a Nokia. Then I went on to use Siemens, Ericsson, Motorola, Apple, Huawei, among other brands. I think those born in the 1990s are incredibly lucky because they can play with mobile phones since they were little. The statistics I get from the audience here are a bit higher than the average. In China, about 52% of mobile phone users buy a new phone every 2 years, and on average, Chinese has used over 5 mobile phones. But have you ever thought about what will happen to discarded mobile phones that we once considered so important to our lives? What will happen to them when they reach end of life? We once took very good care of them. Where will they end up? I want you to travel back in time with me to 20 years ago. This is where discarded electronics ended. A large amount of electronic waste or e-waste was shipped offshore and found their way to coastal regions of China. They were not properly processed. They polluted rivers, turning them black. Fertile farmland was turned into garbage dumps. There was often black smoke and pungent smell. Local workers took electronics apart without safety measures. Local children were exposed to heavy metals in e-waste, leading to lead poisoning. It's shocking how harmful e-waste is to environment and humans. But smartphones are not the only electronics we use. We also use computers, TVs, refrigerators, home appliances, printers, electric toys, so on and so forth. About 450 million metric tons of e-waste is generated every year around the globe. The weight is equivalent to 4,500 Eiffel Towers. I said to myself, what can we do? We want to reuse the discarded electronics, but not just that. The most important thing is, as we process them, we need to ensure there is no pollution. We decided to set up a tech company to address the problem. Getting started was not easy. We had to do things one step at a time, but we have been committed and professional all along. Through continuous experiments, we have found the technologies we need. This is the gold we have harvested from waste. We first disassemble various discarded electronics, separate hazardous materials, and process them separately. Printed circuit boards, for example, are considered hazardous waste as defined by national standards. They have to be shredded multiple times, and then metals and non-metals are sorted out because they have different weight. Then they go through deplating, electrolysis, refining, and melting. In this way, we can harvest copper, aluminum, tin, and other non-ferrous metals, as well as gold, silver, platinum, and palladium, and other rare metals. We can also recycle lithium and cobalt in the form of chemical compounds from used batteries. We used eco-friendly facilities to process water, gas, and ash, ensuring the environment will not be polluted and ensure it's very safe. About resources harvested from discarded electronics, I want to use smartphones as an example. For every 10 million smartphones processed, we can harvest 120 kilograms of gold, which is equivalent to 21,000 Olympic gold medals, as well as 87 tons of copper, equivalent to 190,000 Olympic copper medals, which is 10 times the number of medals awarded at the Beijing Olympics. This is how your smartphones are recycled and reused after reaching end of life. We use eco-friendly technology and manage to turn worthless waste into gold. Looking into the future, what else can we do? Is there a better way to address the problem? We are increasingly affluent. We prefer new things to old ones. We are living increasingly complex lives. But what exactly is an organic, low-carbon, and eco-friendly lifestyle? We can recycle rare resources from used batteries of smartphones. But the thing is, the transport industry is transformed faster than we expected. There will be autonomous vehicles coming to the road. Cars can be turned into bedrooms, conference rooms, cinemas, studies, and so on, and people will no longer need to buy gasoline. Electricity-driven high-speed trains will cut travel time and make it faster to go from point A to point B. Flying cars will also emerge soon, but they are all powered by batteries. In 15 years, there will be a wider array of battery-powered applications. All devices will be powered by batteries. How will we deal with used batteries? This is another environmental challenge facing us. Maybe using batteries can reduce carbon emissions and air pollution compared with fossil fuels, just like gasoline and diesel. But manufacturers consume a large amount of natural resources to exploit elements to make batteries. For example, it takes 1,900 tons of water to exploit 1 ton of lithium. But if we harvest lithium from discarded batteries, it only requires 28 tons of water. Therefore, it's very significant to develop new technologies for recycling batteries. It will help us to reduce the need to mine new resources and reduce the environmental impact. Speaking of plastics, they account for 70% of electronics in terms of volume. Plastics already pose the biggest pollution around the world. Since the 1950s, we have used 8.3 billion tons of plastics. 60% of them are not biodegradable. They end up in landfills or they are thrown away. There are 5 plastic patches. One of them is in an ocean. It's between California and Hawaii and covers an area of 160 square kilometers. The size is equivalent to 1,446 Hong Kong. Every minute, 2 million plastic bags are used around the world. Every minute, a garbage truck full of plastics is emptied into the ocean. Plastics are broken down into plastic microfibers. Many edible fish have consumed microfibers. Many seabirds have consumed them as well. If we don't change the way we manage waste by 2050, there will be more plastics than fish in the oceans. So what do we do as a recycler? Do we have a recycling system to help the public recycle and reuse repurposeful materials? Do we have more intelligent ways to sort garbage? So consumers can drop off discarded electronics, and there will be a transparent process to trace where they go. This may encourage consumers to give their e-waste to a recycler so it can be recycled and reused. Eco-friendly electronics should be designed with environment protection in mind. Take smartphones as an example. If they are not made of a wide array of complex materials, they can be taken apart and separated more easily. When a new technology comes along, only the chip set needs to be changed, and the replaced components can be returned to vendors or recyclers. This way they can be reused, and we will reduce waste. Consumers can print personalized phone cases with a 3D printer so everyone can design the look of the phone. Or one day, maybe we'll stop using smartphones altogether. We can consume information through smart glasses. Electronics are a great benefit to our life, but can they be designed with environmental protection in mind so recycling will be made easier? In the past 20 years, the Chinese economy has grown rapidly. Technologies have made many advances. We have world-leading manufacturing capabilities, as well as advanced recycling technologies. Reuse can cut carbon emissions and will help us to be negative carbon one day. That's why I think technology and innovation will help China to achieve the target of carbon neutrality. Before I wrap up, I'd like to welcome you to visit Shanghai. We have processing facilities in the Jiading district where we turn waste into gold. Over the past 5 years, we have received 50,000 visitors, including many kindergarten children and primary and secondary school students. They come to our facilities, take apart phones and computers. They ask very detailed questions. They want to know how to best recycle and reuse every material. I believe in the future they will use technology to better protect the environment. They will be a responsible member of the planet. That's all from me. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. When you visit our processing facility, you're welcome to drop off mobile phones you don't need anymore at our site so that you can do your part to protect the environment. Thank you. Thank you, Alice, for sharing with us how electronics are processed. Waste recycling and reuse relies on eco-friendly design. Next, I will welcome Suresh Shankar. He's also running a very successful business. So now I will welcome Suresh Shankar, CEO of a company in Singapore, to share a story on entrepreneurship.
If there is so much data available in the world, if AI technology is so powerful, why do companies continue to flood us with irrelevant messages every moment of our lives? Over the last decade, the problem has become more acute. Huge companies are spending more and more money to grab our eyeballs. But instead of using data and technology to make our lives simpler, they have built algorithms that monopolize the most precious asset we have. Not money, but our time and attention. My name is Suresh Shankar. I'm an entrepreneur, the founder and CEO of Crayon Data, a Singapore-based AI and big data company. I have spent the last 36 years seeking the holy grail of marketers worldwide, how to understand consumers as individuals and create relevant and compelling experiences tailored for each of them. But I intend to share with you today not the glory of the destination that I seek, but the challenges of the journey that I take. And I will do so through the story of 4 phone calls, moments which altered my life, which epitomize pressure, and how it is your response to such moments that shape you, your journey, and your destiny. Phone call number 1, July 2000. I had just quit my cushy corporate job in Singapore and was about to join as the COO of a new startup at the height of the dot-com boom. A few days before I was meant to join them, while on holiday, I received a phone call from the CEO of the startup to be. Suresh, I have some news for you. The guys with the funds have backed out. The startup I was supposed to join was not even starting. I had given up my well-paying bank job. I had literally no savings. I was in limbo. And my immediate response was, what have I done? But in my heart, I knew this moment was different. I knew it was a moment to turn accident into ambition. I spent the next 15 days looking back at my 15 years in marketing and advertising. I knew that marketing was changing from a right-brained to a left-brained activity, that its future would be driven by data and technology. So I took the plunge and decided to set up my own startup, Red Pill Analytics. Back then, in 2000, analytics wasn't even a thing. Over the next 8 years, my team and I went through the trials and tribulations of pioneering a new category. We experienced all the highs and lows of entrepreneurship. No one would fund us. Everyone predicted we would fail. We faced credit card debt. We were always running out of cash. In spite of the pressure, or maybe because of it, we became the #1 analytics firm. We kept growing, even during the global financial crisis of 2008. Phone call number 2. On October 14, 2009, I made a phone call together with a global business leader. We announced to the world that IBM had acquired Red Pill Analytics. It was everything any entrepreneur could ever have wanted. I had started something, grown it to prominence, and sold it to the biggest global name in technology. What did the moment represent? To friends and acquaintances, it represented success. Many who had been skeptical and even scornful of my startup called me to say they'd always known I would make it. Others, who had been genuinely supportive all along, were delighted for us. To most of my team, it represented vindication. We had shown the world we were right, and they were, well, mistaken. We had shown that when you try to do something pioneering, the world may seem to be against you, but the universe works with you to reward your persistence. And to me personally, I had turned a professional evolution into a business revolution. I spent 2 years at IBM as the global head of analytics for one of their divisions. But in 2012, I sensed the next revolution coming. The future would not just be data, but big data. Not just analytics, but AI. I was tempted again by my search for the Holy Grail. I left IBM to start Crayon Data in 2012. Coming off the success of my first venture, it was in some ways a lot easier. Crayon's vision was bold: simplify the world's choices. Every day, each of us makes a vast number of choices: where to eat or shop, where to travel to, what clothes to buy, what movie to watch, music to listen to, book to read. Research shows us that each choice involves making 10 to 12 searches, reading 5 to 6 reviews, often conflicting, spending 30 to 45 minutes of time. As choice and the content on each choice becomes more abundant, our time and attention become the limiting factors. More is actually less. And less can indeed be more. We need choices to be simplified, to be made personal and relevant. The data exists, as does the technology. Here is the problem. While the world is awash with data, big tech is making it worse by building algorithms and experiences that serve their interests, not ours. They keep us in an endless scroll, one that allows them to monopolize and monetize our time. I built Crayon around a big idea: turn the misery of choosing into the magic of choice. build an AI platform that could deliver 4 to 6 highly relevant choices to any consumer in any category, save time, reduce irrelevance, improve the quality of their attention. Over the next 6 years, Crayon went through everything a typical startup does. Raised money, burnt it. Achieved early success, failed to grow. Built a great tech platform, struggled with product market fit. Ran into many roadblocks, ran out of cash. Prioritized, pivoted, finally found product market fit, rebuilt the platform, signed some big global clients. In 2017, the world's best airline chose to back our vision with their money. Crayon was set for the big stage. A massive growth in revenue, a big fundraise beckoned. December 2018. After a long prototype building exercise, Crayon was about to launch the first truly personalized travel experience for hundreds of millions of travelers for one of the world's leading airlines. Our platform, Maya.ai, was going to change the face of travel as we knew it, and change Crayon, catapult us into the big league. The project was slated to move into production in January 2019. The team was excited and busy, planning hiring, planning growth, planning new features, closing out term sheets. Little did I know what was on the way. Phone call number 3. On December 22nd at 12:30 p.m., in the middle of our annual planning session, I received a phone call from the client. And he said to me, Suresh, this is nothing to do with Crayon, but we're not proceeding with the project. Tell your team not to come into the office in January. And just like that, the biggest AI-led transformation deal in the airline industry was put on pause. In that moment, there were difficult decisions to be made. We had a team on site of the client. How do we break the news to them? How do we cope with the loss of a massive portion of revenue? How do we protect the jobs of nearly 50 people that we had hired over the year? Would our investors continue to back us with the new fundraise? But first, there was little time to waste. Within 90 minutes, we had spoken to the board, talked to the core team, and held a company-wide town hall. We were transparent about the loss and the challenges it would pose to the company. And though I had butterflies in my stomach, we were confident and specific about how we would respond to the situation. My message to the team and to the world, let's turn this setback into a bigger success. The team responded magnificently. They set even more ambitious goals. We know our platform is so good that the world's best airline chose it. So why just one airline? Why not every one of them? And every bank too? The team reused the assets we had built to create a new business line around this solution, which is the basis of the company today. The leadership too stepped up. We made counterintuitive choices. We did not let go of anyone. We decided not to raise lots more money. We convinced our board and investors to stay the course and back us with just a little bit more. Over the next 24 months, the Crayon team overcame the difficult phone call and grew the business many times over. In 2020, when the COVID pandemic made its phone call, not just to us, but to the whole world, Crayon not just survived, but thrived. I stand here today as a battle-scarred entrepreneur whose every day is full of unrelenting pressure. I've shared with you my journey through a series of phone calls. In our lives and as entrepreneurs, each of us will receive many such challenging phone calls from investors, from clients, from colleagues. In today's day and age, it may not even be a phone call, more likely a chat message, an email, a tweet. There will be many bad calls and a few great ones. It's how you respond to these calls that will determine your destiny. Here are my learnings on how to respond to the calls that we receive in our life. First, ancient Greek philosophy teaches us that character is destiny. What you make of your situation and how you react to it reveals who you really are. The world is full of entrepreneurs who take shortcuts to glory. These stories invariably end badly. Think about all the recent business collapses and frauds around the world. There are plenty of easy options in life. My advice, don't succumb to the temptation. Believe in the right ends and the right means. Second, ancient Indian philosophy teaches us about detachment. Be obsessive about the actions that you can control. Be detached from the outcomes that you cannot. Your values create your actions create your destiny leads to the right outcome. Create a great business, the exit will come. Create value, valuations will follow. And third, Chinese culture and the bamboo tree teaches us about persistence. The bamboo tree requires a lot of water, sunshine, and fertile soil to grow. In the first year, you plant the bamboo tree, you water it, you fertilize it, you tend to it. Nothing happens, and that's what you expect. In the second year, you water it and you fertilize it. Nothing. You're a patient man, so in the third year, you water and fertilize the bamboo tree and tend to it. Still, nothing. You're blaming the universe and everything around you at this point. One last time you say. You water and fertilize the bamboo tree for a fourth year. Nothing. You are about to give up, but because you possess what I call the stupidity gene, you turn up in the fifth year and you water and fertilize the bamboo tree yet again. Sometime in the fifth year, the bamboo tree sprouts and grows 90 feet in just 6 weeks. This is the story of all entrepreneurship, except you don't even know which year it will sprout. The 3 calls I mentioned have taught me that accidents need to be turned into ambition. Character is destiny. Persistence will pay off. If I were to sum what I have learned about pressure over these years, you will receive many phone calls that can break you, but you just need one phone call that will make you. Keep persisting till that phone call comes. You may be wondering, what about phone call number 4? Well, at Crayon, we're still waiting for it. We don't know who is going to call us or when that call is going to come. But one thing we know for sure, the 4th call will come and it will be a great outcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Suresh, for your story. 科技将
Technology has accelerated the evolution of life and given new power to human beings. More potentials have been unleashed and the wider world have come into our vision. For example, visually impaired people can now stand on the shoulders of technology giants and make wonderful pictures with the help of keyboards. Let's welcome Mr. Zhou Fugui, a Senior Information Accessibility Engineer from Shenzhen Accessibility Research Association, to share with us his extraordinary stories. Hello everyone. I'm very happy to stand here and share with you my stories. Have you watched The Roast? This is a famous Chinese talk show. Maybe you have. Well, there were a lot of people debating heatedly about whether talk show performers should use teleprompter. We also have a teleprompter here, but I'm not going to read it because I have low vision in both my eyes. I have a question for you. Can you imagine someone who is visually impaired can take photos? See? How about these pictures? Beautiful, right? These photos were taken independently by some visually impaired friends. And would you believe me if I told you they could not only take photos independently, but even take selfies? This might have been a big challenge 10 years ago, but because of fast technology development, taking photos is easy peasy. Now let me show you how we take selfies with the help of technology. Maybe you are curious. Are the phones and apps we use customized? Well, I want to tell you, no. As you can see, this is an ordinary Huawei phone. But how are we going to use these phones and the products? Each phone is having an app called Screen Reader. We can just use the reader function to use all the possibilities and the functions provided by the phones or products. Everything is read out. Well, let's see how to use it. 100% theme, front. And you can hear when I touch an icon, there's a voice reading out whatever I've touched. And I've clicked. So now I know what kind of app I'm using, and then I know how to operate it. Setup, connection. So everything is read out. Well, let me show you how to take selfie. Let me first find a camera. Yes, here it is. How to do? It's easy. I don't know if you can see my screen. With the function, I have a double click and then open up the camera. Now let me take a selfie. Am I able to take a good photo? You can hear it's telling me there's a face detected at the center of the screen. That means I'm now at the right position. Then I click the button. It says click, and then I click. Double click. Then a photo is taken. Then let me show you the photo. If it's a good photo, then please give me an applaud for 3 seconds. See? With the help of technology, I take this selfie. So, we, with visual impairment, can also use these products because they are optimized with information accessibility. Here's a term, information accessibility. Maybe you've never heard of it before, or maybe you have heard of it but you don't understand it. So, to put it simply, information accessibility is understood as information provided in a format that every user, no matter they are visually impaired, hearing impaired, physically impaired, cognitively impaired, or the elderly, can easily access. So, people with disabilities can use smart devices and technology products just as able-bodied people. So, how did I learn about information accessibility and how was I related? Both of my eyes only have low vision. I'm now a senior engineer on information accessibility. I'm from the Shenzhen Accessibility Research Association. Maybe, in your mind, most visually impaired people are working as massage therapists. But why did I choose the road rarely taken and even challenging for the visually impaired? When I first graduated, it was difficult to find a suitable job because of my poor eyesight. At that time, like most of the visually impaired, I went to learn massage and came to know many friends alike in my study and work. But in one online chat, I found a playback software couldn't support accessibility. So I thought, why can't I make a player on my own that is easy for visually impaired people to use? It took me more than 1 month to learn the programming language, design the software model, and write all the functions. Finally, I made the first software of my life, a sound player that can fully support information accessibility. I sent the software to some visually impaired friends and received a lot of feedback and suggestions. I then made several updates and received a lot of positive feedback. It was their feedback and support that inspired me to embark on the path of software development. And then I spent another 2 years on systematic studies. Now I'm standing here as an information accessibility engineer. People ask, it is difficult for visually impaired people to learn programming. Would it be super hard to be a senior information accessibility engineer? Have you ever thought about giving up? In fact, there were a lot of difficulties. Firstly, as you can imagine, my study was very slow because of visual impairment. And second, after the product went alive, there were some sharp criticisms. There were some attacks on me. The criticisms crushed me once and made me upset. But the encouragement and the support from more users made me believe that the software I made could really make value in the lives and work of the visually impaired. Was more, I think it's a path less taken, but a good try I think I can make to blaze the trail for others like me. I want to knock down the stereotype that people like me can only do massage. So this is the path I've taken until now. Are you curious about my work as a senior accessibility engineer? My job now is mainly to provide information accessibility solutions for partners' products, optimize these products, and make them accessible to everyone. In order to show you what my team has achieved, I'd like to invite a friend to come to the stage and experience the differences between products without information accessibility and those with optimization. So you can just run to the stage. Because if you raise up your hand, I cannot see, sorry. So you can just run to the stage. Well, you run here the fastest. Well, I have something for you. This is something you can wear on your eyes to experience as if you are someone with visual impairment. Okay, now I cannot see anything. Don't worry, I'm standing here by your side. Don't be scared. This is a phone I just used. You can hold it with both of your hands. Okay, here's a mic. Maybe you cannot really see the screen. You can just experience as if you cannot see anything for a while. Then can you still use smartphone? I can help you to hold your phone. Okay, now I've opened an app. You can use your fingers to touch the screen. Is everything on the screen able to be read out loud? Can you hear everything? You can click on everything on the screen. Install. Everything is readable. And this is because it is optimized with information accessibility. Then, let me show you another product without its optimization of the information accessibility. This one. Now, again, you can click on anything on the screen. Anywhere. You can hear the same content is repeated. it keeps saying picture, picture, picture. So we don't really know what the content is there in the app. Well, indeed, there's a lot of things shown here, not only pictures and photos. So if you cannot see things for a while or temporarily, that means you cannot use the app smoothly because they are not optimized with information accessibility. Thank you.
那正如大家所见，我的工作呢，正是将
As you can see, my job is to optimize these products that do not support accessibility so that they can be used by everyone. I'm proud to say the codes and the solutions I provide are embedded in many of the apps you are using every day. I've always been asked before, does technology help people with disabilities, or does it distance them from ordinary people? I answered without hesitation, it must have brought convenience. Of course, as I've experienced before, some functions are still not available to all, but technology is not to blame. It's just a temporary dilemma faced by a few people. For many companies and products, it's not that they don't want to solve these dilemmas, they just don't know enough. In fact, accessible information is not just a solution to the plight of minorities, but a convenience for all. For example, the invention of the first typewriter was because the inventor wanted to make his communication with blind girlfriend easier. The email was created because the inventor himself had hearing impairment and had to rely on written communications. And the subtitles were made to help hearing impaired friends watch TV. There are many such cases where you will find that the inventions were originally designed to remove the information barrier for the minority, but ultimately they actually benefit everyone. You may still feel that these cases are still too far away from you. Maybe you will encounter some temporary or situational obstacles. For example, wearing a mask during the pandemic has made it impossible for you to unlock phones with your face. Voices cannot be used when your voices are lost because of a sore throat, a cold, or a noisy environment. These problems are for everyone, and as we grow older, as we age, presbyopia will make our invention blurred, and we may need some hearing aids. So access to information is not just a need by the minority, but also our grandparents, our parents, and even us. So at the end of today's talk, I'm asking you to bring the concept of information accessibility to all the people around you. If everyone pays more attention to information accessibility, no matter he is a product manager, a designer, or maybe a programmer, I believe more technological innovations will be achieved. We are then getting closer to realizing the vision of building a modern civilization that will benefit all through technology. Each of us will be the beneficiary and the enabler of this great vision. Thank you.
Thank you for your talk. Where you start will not determine where you end up. Every person pursuing a dream forges ahead under pressure. Now we will welcome Madeleine Bailey, a famous American singer. Now she has tens of thousands of fans. We will have her share a story about how she becomes the person she is today.
If you hear any weird sounds during the taping of this, it is my dogs. Hi, my name is Madeleine Bailey, and I want to tell you the story of how I accidentally, on purpose, became an international internet sensation. So that hopefully you'll see how literally anyone can do this with the right ingredients. What qualifies me for this? Well, I've been making content for the internet for over 10 years now. I have over 10 million followers across my platforms, and over 1 billion views alone on my YouTube channel, which is crazy. Cool. So now you trust me. I know what I'm talking about. Maybe, kind of. You'll see as we go. I'm going to give you 5 steps. 5 steps on how to become an internet sensation. Are you ready? Step 1. Give up all hope of becoming an internet sensation. The moment you stop trying to be special and you just be yourself is the moment that you've become something special because you've become original. I don't know who that quote's by. It could be me. It could be somebody else. I could not find it on the internet. What I mean by giving up hope of becoming an internet success is that overnight success is not real. When you see that happen to somebody, there are years and years of hard work and development put into what they're doing to get them to the point where they can have overnight success. So instead of chasing that one viral moment, what I advise you to do is to build a catalog of original content that really represents you, your voice, and what you want to put out into the world. Because let's just say you get really lucky, right? You put your first piece of content out there, it goes massively viral. Then what? People go to your channel, there's no other videos. Who are you? Just one video is not enough to tell the story of who you are and what you do. So what's way more exciting is that you post 10, 15 videos and then a video goes viral. People have 10, 15 videos that for you to convince them to why they should continue to follow you and buy into what you're doing. So focus more on the catalog, focus more on making quality content that's original and putting it out there, because honestly, viral videos are just an inevitable thing that comes along with posting great content, and a lot of it. Eventually, you'll have a viral video. So don't chase it, build a catalog. Step 2, I hope you fail a lot. Really positive advice here, really positive advice. My siblings and I like to throw around some really funny oxymorons every once in a while just to get our brains kind of thinking. So I'm gonna give you one that we like to throw around, which is, if you're trying to fail, are you failing or succeeding? Let you think about that one for a second. What I mean by failing, right, is if you are failing, it means that you are trying. If you are failing, it means that you can learn. If you are failing, it means you haven't stopped yet. And the only difference between somebody who makes it and doesn't make it, people who made it didn't stop. The people who don't make it decided it wasn't for them and they quit. And that's okay. What I also mean by failing is that you have the opportunity to learn from your mistakes and recalibrate what you're doing and adjust it slightly and put it out and see how audiences respond to it so that you can make better and better content. Also, in the same breath, once you find something that works, you also have to get really good at reinventing yourself, because when you find something that works, it's only going to work for as long as it does. And then what? Well, you're going to have to keep reinventing yourself. You're only done when you say you're done. Step 3, learn to love your haters. What I mean by this is that you're gonna need something more than thick skin to make it on the internet. What I'm suggesting is you need something that comes from blood and sweat and tears and pressure and years of trying and failing and getting back up. A diamond heart. That's what I'm suggesting that you need to build in order to make it on the internet. I actually recently teamed up with Huawei to write a song called Shine Your Diamond Heart that's talking about this particular topic. What do haters mean? Haters mean that you are putting yourself out there. Haters mean that you are reaching a larger audience. Haters mean you are creating something that people have never seen before. And with these particular topics, for some reason, I don't know why, they tend to attract haters. So give yourself a round of applause. Do you have haters? Congrats, you're doing something right. I actually didn't receive a lot of hate on the internet until I had my first mini viral moment when I did a cover of Not Afraid by Eminem. And naturally, seeing a white blonde girl from Wisconsin sing rapping to an Eminem song got very mixed opinions. Some people really liked it and thought it was cool, and some people really hated it. Like, I mean, really hated it. But that was also my first video to surpass 1 million views. So what does that say? Haters come with success. Since haters are an inevitable part of posting content on the internet, we can't just ignore it. So instead, I encourage you to let the haters empower you. I actually took my hate comments and turned them into a song. Basically taking something that was meant to be negative and bring me down, I changed the narrative and I turned it into something powerful and empowering that is entertaining, funny, and also encourages other people to deal with hate in a similar way. Step 4, be poor. For this step, I'm going to quote one of my friends, Jack Conte. He made a really cool video called The Second Creative Renaissance. And my particular favorite quote from the video is, "It's cheaper and more accessible and easier to make creative stuff than it's ever been in human history." There are 2 very important trends setting the stage for a second renaissance. 1, we're all connected. For the first time in human history, we can reach each other through the internet. 2, creation tools. Making stuff is cheap and easy. If you combine these 2 trends, you get an explosion in the number of creative people making stuff and reaching others. So what does this mean for creators? It means that you do not need crazy expensive equipment to make high quality content. And this is great news for anyone who is a creator, because it means that you can work with what you have right now and strive to get better as you go. Let's do a little experiment. Take your phone out for me. Hold it up. Take your phone out. Is it in your pocket, sitting next to you on the counter? Or maybe you're just one of those people who's always misplacing their phones like me. Anyway, think of your phone. Maybe give it a little pet, a little pat. Thank it so much for all that it does for you, because if you have a smartphone, you have better quality equipment than I did when I started out. I had dial-up internet. I had a non-HD camera that I stacked on boxes because I did not have a tripod. You have to start somewhere, and the best place to start is right now, right here, today, with what you have. And also where you're at is another good point. I did not move out to LA the second that I started seeing success online. I waited to move out to LA until it was essential for me to move out there, because I was out in LA doing so much work that it only made sense for me to live there. Like, living at home in Wisconsin was so much cheaper, and I saved so much money by staying home in Wisconsin and making this content. So you can make content with very little money and exactly where you're at. So this is great news for anyone who's a creator. Step number 5, half-ass it. I want to give you one of my favorite quotes from the great Elizabeth Gilbert. Her book, Big Magic, is one of my all-time favorites. I super recommend, if you're a creative person, to read it, but this is my favorite quote from the book. "A good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan executed next week." Or, to paraphrase, "A good enough novel written now is better than a perfect novel meticulously written never." I have a secret for you. None of us know what we're doing. I literally make up everything I'm doing as I'm going. Stop being a perfectionist. We do not have time for perfect. We have time to get it done. Put something out there. For the love of creativity and art, please put something out there and learn as you go. As a songwriter, I can tell you that there is never a point where a song is totally perfect and completely finished and awesome, and there's always something I can tweak on it. But what I've had to get really good at is knowing not when a song is perfect, but when it is done. Because a song that is released and out in the world is so much better than one that I never finish writing because I want to get it to be perfect, because perfect isn't a thing, and it just ends up in the graveyard of songs that no one will ever listen to. So put your content out there. The number 1 biggest secret to success, I'm sure you've heard this before, but I'm going to say it again. Create quality content quickly. That means doing the work, but getting it done. In conclusion, I hope you fail, and I hope you get up again. I hope you make content that people hate, so that you also have the opportunity to make content that people love. I hope you get things done instead of getting things right. I hope you stop chasing that 5 minutes of viral fame and you build an empire. Above all, I hope you learn to love the process, because the process is mostly what it is. So my last words to you: number 1, be yourself, be original. Number 2, make mistakes and learn from them. Number 3, build a diamond heart and let it shine. Number 4, make it up as you go. And number 5, get it done. I hope that this advice will help you to accidentally, on purpose, also become an international internet sensation. Bye, guys.
Wow, what a story! Madeline 坚持自我，展
Madeline sticks to herself, shows herself, and becomes who she is today. Facing pressure and perseverance are her messages to everyone. In the world of sports competition, enormous pressure and difficulties are commonly seen everywhere. Bravery is their motto. Mo Farah is a middle-distance runner from the UK and is a 4 Olympic gold medalist. Today, we invite the world's top athletes to teach you how to complete a 10,000-meter race.
Hello, I'm Mo Farah, 4-time Olympic champion. Running is my life. It's what makes me happy. It's what I do best. I've done a lot of different things before I was an athlete for a living. There's nothing of shame what you do. I worked at McDonald's, worked at Pizza Hut, I worked at warehouse and worked at many different jobs. And for me, it was just like, I have to earn a bit of money and I have to do this. And I think in a way, we shouldn't be thinking, I can't do that, I can't do that. You have to be willing to do everything in life. I love football, even now. I'm a season ticket holder for Arsenal. I often go matches, but I don't have that as talent as I do in running. So I realized that early on, it's not possible to go further. So I put all my effort and hard work into running. Running tells you a lot. If you want to be the best at what you do, you have to be willing to work hard and put in the work and listen to your body. And you have to be disciplined and you have to be selfish at times where you see your friends going out or people doing other stuff. You can't have it. If you want to be the best, you have to be in the right frame of mind. And in running, there's no hiding. In football, you can have a bad game and there's 10 men to cover you. In running, if you have a bad day, you have a bad day, and you have to be honest to yourself and see what happened, what went wrong, and work from there. Beijing Olympics for me was disappointing. I've probably been one of the lowest in my life in terms of disappointed, not being able to do what I wanted to do. My aim was, when I went to the Olympics, is to make the final. And I didn't qualify. I got knocked out in the qualification. And then from there, I was just disappointed. I just had a bad race, and you have to be honest to yourself. And I came back here and thinking, I don't want that to happen again. What do I need to do? How do I change my training? What do I need to apply to be able to, compete with these guys? And I remember going to Kenya, where a training camp, and working hard and learning from them. And that's what I did. And I promised myself in that, when I'm going to just keep working hard. I'm going to be trying to apply what they do, eat, sleep, and train. But that taught me life lessons. When you as an athlete achieve a lot, comes with a lot of pressure and comes with a lot of distractions. But at the same time, if you've got the right support and the right people, they're there to help you and make sure you focus on the right things. And often, every race I turn up, there's a pressure. I know there's a pressure, but that's the pressure, not the pressure I put myself, it's the pressure of others. And often I try and not put pressure on myself. I try and just be free and enjoy what I do and just to make the most of it and just see it as another race. And that's what you have to do as an athlete. You can't think there's so much, and there is pressure, there's no question of doubt, but at the same time, don't put pressure on yourself. And often I try and not do that. My goals was, before the London 2012, was being able to do what I did in Daegu in 2011, where I won the gold medal. 5,000, came second in the 10,000 meters, just though. And from now I was like, look, I don't want to make the same mistake I did in a world championship. So my goal was just be there at the right time and use my experience of the previous year. And that's what I did. My goal was always, to try and win the gold medal. As an athlete, you always just take it one race at a time. And yes, I have won 4 gold medals, and the next one for me is Tokyo Olympics. That's what I want to go for. Running has taught me a lot of things in life. Be grateful, be understanding, and be respectful, and anything is possible. My tip is to anyone who's out there who, when they're jogging, get really tired. Often you get tired and you start to tense. Just try to relax and take a deep breath and try to keep your upper body straight. The more tense you get, more harder it is to breathe, because all your lungs and everything you're holding up. So just try to relax a bit more. I know it's hard to say because you're already tired, but just try to relax a bit more up of your body and just slowly take a deep breath and push through. Don't think you can just, get there straight away and jog. You start off slowly. You start 10 minutes, and the following day maybe 15 minutes, have a day off, and then come back to it. And everything you do, you try and build. It's really important you listen to your body. Don't go too hard at the start, and just enjoy it. That's the most important thing. Be free, enjoy it. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy being able to make my country proud, make so many people proud, motivate other people. Often a lot of people say, oh, I can't reach up to what Mo Farah has done. He's the best. Yeah, I'm the best right now. Was I ever the best? I started from, as a kid and progressed through. And that is something that we can give back to the younger generation and motivate them. And for me, yes, I have achieved a lot. My aim is to be able to motivate people and see what is possible out there. Because often we always think it's not possible. If you're thinking it's not possible, then you're already blocking that part and going, I can't do it. It's not an excuse. You can do it. We can do it. It's just how do we be able to inspire the next generation and the younger people. And for me, I'm a big kid myself, and seeing kids look up to you and you inspire them, it motivates me, it gives me something. I want to be able to give back to the community and younger kids, and I've already got my coaching license and something I've worked towards it, be able to motivate the next generation and the next and younger kids and give back to the sport. Often, if I describe myself what I saw on TV and seeing an athlete was like, wow. But I didn't know how to do it. But now I've know, from progress of when I was a child to what I have achieved, what I know, it's only right being able to give back to kids. And for me, I see myself as working with younger generation and motivating people. My advice to younger generation is enjoy what you do. What you put in is what you get out of. It's really important you be disciplined and be willing to work hard. The more harder you work, the bigger dream you have, the more you can achieve. Thank you for watching TED Talk. I hope I've motivated you. Don't dream of winning, train for it. Anything is possible in life if we work towards it. So be willing to work hard, and let's work hard together.
Thank you, Mo Farah. 功成名就的歌手与
Successful singers and athletes need to overcome pressure to win glories. So does each of us. We need to fight by ourselves against adversities. Dr. Wang Yunhe, like millions of ordinary workers in Shenzhen, faces up to the pressure from his daily work. So next, I'd like to invite Dr. Wang Yunhe, a senior researcher of Huawei's computer vision, to share with us his journey from academia to the industry. Hello everyone. I share the same family name with another Dr. Wang, and today I'm very happy to have this opportunity to stand here and share with you my stories. I just want to tell you, as a newcomer to Huawei, the pressure I faced and the journey I had in the past few years. I finished my doctorate degree and graduated from Peking University in 2018 and then joined Huawei. I'm now working at Noah's Ark Laboratory of the Central Research Institute. I'm mainly engaged in algorithm optimization and research related to artificial intelligence, especially computer vision. As is known to us all, AI is everywhere. It's on our mobile phones, smart cameras, and autonomous driving. These products and technologies have more or less the use of AI. However, although we have a lot of applications, but due to reasons such as memory, computing power, and power consumption, it's difficult to use AI algorithms on mobile devices. In my PhD, my research focused on how to solve the problem of AI efficiency. That is, by using some optimization algorithms to reduce the cost of running AI algorithms and improve AI efficiency on some phones and other devices. I have published some academic papers and participated in some projects. And I was awarded a Google Scholarship for Global PhDs in 2017. We know that 2017 was a special year for Huawei. In this year, Huawei's consumer business gained great success and was quite influential in the industry, especially its mobile phones. The photo taking of Huawei phones and also some other applications on the phones have been using AI and AI algorithms. And at that time, I contacted Huawei's Noah's Ark Lab, and I was honored to work at Huawei as an intern. I stayed at Beijing Research Center for 3 months. For me personally, it was an interesting experience. I left school and started to work in a company. I met a lot of colleagues, good leaders, open and innovative work atmosphere as well. A lot of innovations were made. In addition, my experience and studies could match Huawei's research and development direction and investment. That is to reduce the cost of using AI and improve user experience. So I joined Huawei after I graduated from my PhD. And I was at the Noah's Ark Lab. In Huawei, similarly, I invented and developed some AI algorithms to improve application efficiency, especially for computer vision. When I first came, there were only 2 or 3 people in the research team. But after years of development, they are now a pretty big. They are now about 10 employees and 10 interns, a pretty big team. So those interns are pretty good. They are from some really well-known universities at home and abroad. So this is a very young team. The youngest team member was born in 1997, and he will join Huawei maybe after he graduates his graduation next year. So we've been having some really good time. We played computer games together, and we are quite open to each other. We are quite open in our chats, in our discussions. We share with each other our understanding of the work, of our life, of the difficulties we'll come across. And last year, we initiated an interesting project together called Adder Neural Network. So today, we don't really have something concrete to show you, and I don't have slides. So I have to try to describe it with just my words. As we all know, chips are very important to the ICT industry and also very important to the consumer business. In the past 20 years, the chip technology has been greatly improved from about 180 nanometer to about 5 nanometer. So as the chipset grows smaller, it also becomes more and more difficult to upgrade the process. The potential for us to improve its hardware is quite limited. I wanted to address the problem, so I recorded a set of data in the paper I read during my PhD, which deals with the energy consumption and area overheads of different basic operations, mainly additions and multiplications of bits. So we compare the data, and we find that 8-bit multiplication and 8-bit addition can have about 7-fold difference in terms of power consumption and the circuit area. So that means we can use algorithms to improve energy consumption and area overheads. There's still a big room. So I thought of using addition to build a deep neural network. And that is a very important basic element for algorithms. At first, we met some setbacks because the hardware and the framework we are having now really cannot show the benefits of a neural network. And we were also challenged by some internal experts or some other peers from the industry. We weren't really supported by a lot of people. But after a few discussions with some of my colleagues and our chief scientists, and I felt that this direction was worth investing in. So I wanted to make it happen. After that, I organized a team. There were some Huawei employees and also some interns. We worked together. We developed a series of optimization algorithms. We did a lot of validation experiments as well. And with concerted efforts, we had the optimized additive network. It has the advantages of both multiplication and addition features, and it can solve the problem of accuracy. Now the AI algorithms that are mainly used in the industry are dominated by some institutions from Europe or the US, and in most cases, we still see a lot of challenges as we only want to use addition in the neural network. So we do hope to only use additive neural network to build a Huawei-developed adder neural network. So these are some of the technologies I'd like to share with you. And finally, as a Huawei employee, and also a young employee, a newcomer, because I joined Huawei less than 3 years ago, I'm honored to see many of our researches and patents being applied to practical products, especially in some recent terminals and consumer products. So by using these new technologies, our phones can be better. We can lower the cost of using AI algorithms and improve user experience. Thank you.
谢谢我们小王博。
Thank you, Mr. Wang, for your talk. True insights come from thinking and asking questions. We can constantly review our past from multiple dimensions and try to figure out opportunities of today. In this way, we can turn pressure into motivation in the rapidly changing world. Next, let's welcome the last speaker of today's event, the founding executive editor of The Wired magazine and the author of best-selling books Out of Control and Inevitable. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Kevin Kelly. He will join us virtually and share his thoughts on relativity of resistance and motivation.
The problems of today are large and obvious. The most difficult problems are those that are global in scale, like COVID-19 or climate change. And they will require global solutions. But we should not despair, because the greater the problems, the greater the opportunities it will have from them. I believe that problems push progress. We quickly forget how unconnected the entire world was only 5,000 days ago, before we had mobile phones and social media for everyone. Now it seems obvious and inevitable. Well, I believe that in the next 5,000 days, we will also meet our greatest problems, but also the greatest amount of opportunities that the world has ever seen. Hi, I'm Kevin Kelly, and I'm so delighted to be joining you virtually. You know, so much has happened in the last 15 years. It's only been 5,000 days since mobile phones and social media has taken over the world. I want to join you in trying to imagining what will happen in the next 5,000 days, which is about 15 years. So it's about the year 2035. What do you think will happen? I believe that we're headed towards a better boom, a boom time of innovation and opportunity and prosperity that we've never seen before. And I want to tell you about some of those trends going through there. The first one is globalism. No matter what happens between the US and China over the next 15 years, we will be headed towards one global economy. We have one global culture, one global technological machine. All the students of the world are going to be studying the same subjects. These are the subjects that everybody studies. It's one culture right now. That means that everybody in the world can participate, and I think that Asia and Africa will become increasingly the center of cultural innovation. The people will look to this area for the best new things in the world in the next 15 years. And everybody around the world will be using the tools of remote working to work, even if they're working in the same building. Even if they're next to each other, they'll still be using the tools of remote work, and as well as the people who are working remotely around the world. So we'll have Zoom rooms, we'll have video walls, we'll have teleconferencing of all sorts. The second trend is that we are increasingly a cityfied species, that we have urbanity, that we will be living in cities. 90% of us will be living in some metropolitan area. And that means that we have these huge markets within easy reach. Most people will be living within 10 kilometers of a hospital. They'll have access to bandwidth. And this, by the way, this style of living in cities is actually the greenest way to do it in terms of the impact on the planet. I think in 15 years, 50% of the people around the globe will have access to 5G. This is huge. And all this kind of access and bandwidth and density means that everything is available within reach upon asking, and so that access to things becomes more important than ownership, because you could just reach for them, call them, have them delivered in a few hours. That is very, very, very powerful. The third, I think, trend is going to be green energy. 35% of many countries' energies will come from renewables. I think that 50% of most of the new vehicles sold will be electric around the world, and that includes some planes, electric planes, very powerful. Your car becomes basically a computer with wheels, and there will be, I predict, more bandwidth to your car than to your home. Because what are we doing inside the car that drives itself? We'll be on our phones. We'll be with the smart glasses doing VR or AR. We'll be working. We'll be playing. These will become media centers. The fourth trend is that we are going to become a planetary matrix, a planetary superorganism, where we will be developing in the next 15 years tools of collaboration that will allow us to collaborate at a scale we've never done before, with hundreds of thousands of people working together in real time. Okay, doing projects that require that many people and that many skills, but doing it around the globe in real time with collaboration tools that we have yet to invent. Part of those inventions will be the mirror world, which means that we are going to scan all the physical things in our environment and put them with a digital twin, connect them together into a alternative mirror world of the real world that we can access with smart glasses. And smart glasses are the next big consumer item after smartphones. With these glasses, you can see through, you can see the real world, but you can also see a layer of this virtual world mixed together, and you will be able to see things like a whale breaching inside a gymnasium or other things. And so when we scan everything to put them into this mirror world, we're actually making them machine readable, so we can search the entire world, not just search the world of information like we can right now with Baidu and Google, but search the actual physical world. We can annotate it, we can manipulate it, we can hyperlink it. We can do all the things that we did with information. Now we're going to be able to do with the real world, and that's very, very powerful. That's beginning in the next 15 years. Included in that is our own avatars, our own human bodies and teleconferencing. And most of the time that we'll spend in the mirror world, we'll spend it socially with other people. And so I think this mirror world will become the most social of all the social media. Ubiquitous AI is another long-term trend. AI has been around, become cheap and ubiquitous and powerful. One of the first things I think, imagine in the next 15 years is that we have translation pods in our ears that will allow us to do real-time translation wherever we are. You have them, you're wearing them, you can hear me, you hear Chinese, I would hear you speak English in real time, all other languages, and that liberates millions and millions of people who have tremendous skill, except for the skill of language, allow them to participate in the world global economy wherever they live. It's not just voice, we also have gestures that will pick up with the AIs. And just as women moving into the workforce was hugely transformative in the past, the next big thing is AIs moving into the workforce in a way that is going to be transformative. We have precision agriculture from lettuce bots in which they can remember the health of every single little individual plant in a whole farm. We'll have robo-investors, we'll have robo-doctors, robo-lawyers, robo-brokers, robo-designers. All of these are AIs that not stand alone. They're actually working with humans together, what we call centaurs, as a team. And these teams of human plus AIs are the real future in the next 15 years. Accelerated innovation is another trend where it's not just teachers who are teaching and experts, it's anybody who's learned anything at all is sharing that immediately, and that is accelerating the pace of learning. We have even brain surgeons learning new brain surgery techniques by watching YouTube. That's what we're talking about. And of course, mixed reality, MR, will facilitate people doing training and learning by mirroring what they see, even puppeting in them in some cases. It's a very, very powerful way of increasing learning. I think your job in 2 years, let alone 15 years, is going to be a job that hasn't been invented yet. So biotech is another long-term trend. We have the quantified self, where we're trying to measure our own activities in order to make better medicines. We also have now cheap green meat, plant-based meat that tastes very, very good, but next step in the 15 years is going to be animal cell-based meat that will be even better than meat. It'll taste just as good, if not better, because it can be engineered, maybe hybrids, maybe in some ways better nutrition, to actually taste better than the meat today. Neural links are a way to read into the brain using light, where we can actually see how the brain uses the brain to control computers or other things. That's very, very powerful. It'll just be in the prototype age in 15 years, but we'll get to see how it's going to work. The next economy is really where we're going. There's going to be cheap money everywhere, super capital. I think there's going to be two cryptocurrencies, a China-based one and a US-based one. All this is part of fintech, which means an example of fintech would be a way to do real-time transactions, settlements in large scale in a company. That would be really cool to have. I think we'll have that in 15 years. Of course, there'll be blockchains and nifties, smart contracts. But the major shift beginning in 15 years is to move away from trying to grow the economy just in size and try to grow it in terms of making it more mature, more complex, without necessarily getting fatter. New play. Finally, there's huge opportunities in what we're going to see, how we spend our free time, our play time. I think that esports in the 15 years will become the largest entertainment industry on the planet, far out bigger than movies, anything else. And so these are going to involve, I think, even watching robots do things. Either robots fight each other, or robots compete with each other like Robot Olympics, or even dancing, watching robots dance. I think that's another part of the entertainment complex. And then we have VTubers, synthetic characters that we interact with in real time, they'll have characters as powerful as anything we see in movies, maybe even more powerful. All these things are not without problems. Every single one of these will have new problems. My vision is a vision of protopia. Okay, it's not utopia where there are no problems. It's not dystopia where everything is going to crash and there's terminators and the AIs are going to kill us. No, this is protopia where there is progress. In English, we say proceed. There's pro as affirmative. There's prototype, early. All these things are works in progress. They're not perfect. They're just a little bit better than last year. Okay? So if we can improve the world by 1% and have that compounded every year, that's what we're talking about. There will be problems. There will be new problems. These technologies will make whole new problems that we haven't even imagined before, but problems push progress. We're moving forward. And that forward, I think, in the next 15 years is going to be the better boom. It's going to be an era of huge opportunity by the global market, huge opportunity for everybody in the world, particularly Asia and Africa. There's going to be the huge opportunity in green energy, huge opportunities in making new kind of meat and other synthetic foods, a huge opportunity in the mirror world, a whole new platform, a huge opportunity in new ways to play, and a huge opportunity in the new world based around fintech. Many, many thousands, millions of opportunities. I want to remind people that you're not late and that we're going to see in the next 15 years an era of innovation and opportunity like we've never seen before. So thank you.
谢谢凯文凯利先生带来的分享。
Thank you for sharing. His forecast into the next 15 years is now gradually being turned into reality. And until now, this is the end of the sharing from 9 speakers and also the end of today's TEDx Huawei. But this is also a beginning. We are looking forward to hearing more stories and ideas from this stage and the platform. Share ideas worth spreading. Thank you again for your time. We hope to see you again. See you next time. And also, we have prepared you something in the hall next door. You can go and enjoy them. Thank you.